Hey athletes, what's going on? Happy Monday. Hope you guys had an amazing weekend. If you guys had any races, hope you did well in those. I know a number of you specifically did race this weekend. I'm not sure about everybody, but I know we had some racers. I'm Brianne Showman, physical therapist and performance coach. Get your fix physical therapy and get your fix nutrition. And I work with you OCR racers to prepare you to dominate your race at peak performance. Hey Brian, Angie, thanks for hopping on. So this weekend I had Ragnar and I took a ton of food with me. I know some of you saw the post I put up that I was taking a ton of food, and I have no issues taking a ton of food with me because I know I need my fuel. And I did actually a really good job of eating while I was out there. I have no problem eating, so there's that first and foremost. But I did really well eating, like knowing when to eat before my runs, knowing when to eat, or knowing I needed to get food in me after, before I went to sleep or anything like that. And I felt really good on all of my runs for the most part. The heat did get to me on my last one, but that has nothing to do with fueling issue. But here's kind of what happened, and it's kind of an excuse on why I didn't eat, but at the same time, there's a good reason for it. So, like I said, I did great fueling the entire time throughout the event, but I was the second to last runner, and so when we got back, and it was kind of getting late into the race itself, and so Ragnar actually wanted people to start breaking things down. Hey, what do you recommend eating the night before an ultra? Okay, I'll definitely get to that, Brian. But Ragnar wanted people to start breaking stuff down. And so it got to the point that most of my team, I was out on the run, my team had to start cleaning up their stuff, packing up stuff, getting it in vehicles. So they didn't want to leave my stuff out there on its own, which I totally appreciated. But in the process of this, the vehicle that was there still did not have my stuff in it, meaning I didn't have my food. So I got back, they had my water for me, but they didn't have, I had no food. They were kind of in a panic on what is Brie going to need, what is she going to want when she gets back, and they totally forgot the food, which is fine. Had my water, that was fine. And there were still food trucks there and all of that. But after I'm done running, I don't want heavy food. I don't want things that might not settle well with me. And so it ended up being, I ended up getting a coffee with some milk in it in order to actually just get some calories in me. One of the runners, one of my friends, had a honey, a honey packet. So I had that, but that was all I had for pretty much an hour and a half, 2 hours after I ran in the heat, and some water. So I was definitely depleted, and I was feeling fine as long as I was sitting still. But once we got up about an hour and a half later, hour and 20 minutes later for our last runner, I was definitely feeling it. I don't get hangry very often, but I definitely was. I was definitely getting kind of shaky and that sort of thing as we were walking back to the vehicles. So before I drove home, first thing I did was got food in my system. I pretty much downed what I had in my car as far as my fats, my carbs, my proteins, anything I had in there still. Basically what I wanted, what I knew my body needed in order to fuel me appropriately. So I know it wasn't the smartest decision not to eat anything, but at the time, nothing was really sounding good besides what I knew was light and would sit really well on my stomach after my race. So lesson learned. I know I need to eat I knew I needed to eat afterwards anyway, but I truly felt the effects of it this weekend when I didn't eat right afterwards, after I got done running. So I just kind of wanted to share that story with you guys to just remind you that you need to make sure you're fueling your body appropriately. If you're doing a long event, definitely fuel appropriately during. But if it's just one workout, just one run, just one event, make sure you're getting fuel in you afterwards. It's super important to replenish what you burned during your training session, during your race, whatever it is. replenish the electrolytes, replenish the sugar stores, replenish the fats, all of that stuff. So learn from my story. Don't do what I did. Next year I'm not going to do what I did, and we'll go from there. Now, Brian, to answer your question, fueling the night before an ultra or a night before any event, essentially. So a lot of times people want to do like huge carb loading sessions, which in itself isn't necessarily a bad thing, but it's not necessarily going to help you to the extreme either. Because our bodies can only store so much when it comes to, it's basically at increasing our, okay, cool. Awesome, Ryan. So when we try to load the night before, basically what we're doing is increasing our glycogen stores. So we have more to burn the next day. We can only store so much though. So when we do like crazy heavy carb loading, at the end of the day, it's not doing a ton. It's helping a little bit, but what doesn't get stored as glycogen in our muscles gets stored as glucose, ultimately then gets stored as fat, which when we are running, having that extra fat is not a bad thing either, because that is what's going to ultimately burn over those long periods of time. But increasing those glycogen stores the night before, increasing our calorie intake the night before is helpful. What I normally suggest is making sure a couple days before you're getting fully hydrated, getting some electrolytes, and you making sure your body has everything it needs in that aspect. The day before the race, especially the evening before the race, talking dinner time, increasing your calorie intake by about 500 to 600 calories, especially going into that ultra. Not a lot of times we're just talking like marathon race, regular beast, that sort of thing. It's usually about 300 to 400 calories. For the ultra, or for an ultra or an ultra beast, definitely want to increase that. So 500 to 600 calories. Now, that's not all carbs. We're wanting to do, get in extra proteins, extra carbs, and extra fats. So basically whatever you would normally have, just increase that a little bit, and that will help to get you ready for that morning, and then make sure you fuel in the morning as well, so you're ready to go for that race. So I hope that helps you, Brian. If you have any other questions, definitely post them on here before I'm off or afterwards. That's fine too. Last year. Dang, Kenneth, that's awesome. Good job. So, hope that was all helpful for you guys, just hearing my story. Brian, I hope that was helpful, giving you some ideas for what to do the night before your race. If you have any other questions for me, definitely post those on here, or feel free to message me directly on Facebook Messenger. I'd be happy to have a conversation with you there as well. Thanks everybody for hopping on. I really appreciate it. And have an awesome rest of your Monday. We'll talk again soon. Bye.